Statman here, Mr. Z, and I'll be talking about how to use your TI calculator to solve normal calculations. Now, we've been using a table to help us with this, and the fact of the matter is the calculator can do the same work in much less time. So I'm going to show you some tricks to be more efficient when solving these problems. So here is an example that we had done in class about fuel economy with a mean mu 24.8 and standard deviation 6.2, and of course it is normal. It is a normal distribution. So I draw my little graph, label the mean 24.8, that's mu. Standard deviation 6.2, 40 is my x, and I want to know the area to the right. More than 40. Again, this is question 1. It says, what percent of autos should get more than 40 miles per gallon? So I calculate my z-score as before, x minus mu over sigma. So I'm going to get 40 minus 24.8 over 6.2 gives me a z-score of 2.45, which I would then look up in the table. But because it's going to the right, then I'd have to subtract it from 1. It's a little tedious. So I'm looking again for the probability that z is greater than 2.45, or the area to the right of 2.45. Now, I'm going to use my calculator to do this. So if I go to my calculator, my TI, my trusty TI, and I type, or I hit second. Now, I'm looking for right here, it's the vars key, and right above it, it says distribution. So when I click on that, second vars, I get the list of distributions. I'm looking for the second one down that says normal CDF. That stands for cumulative density function, and I'm going to hit enter. Now, if I have a updated TI, okay, I am going to get this menu in which I will type in 2.45 and 1 and a bunch of zeros. So basically, the ways that I enter into the calculator, because I have to tell the calculator what I want it to calculate. So the way that I enter it is like this. Normal, CDF, min, max, mu, sigma. Min, max, mean, and standard deviation. So when I get to my calculator, I'm going to type in the min, the max, and it defaults to z-scores. So if I don't enter a mean and standard deviation, then it's just going to use z-scores, which is how I will initially teach you how to do this. So the minimum value, because I'm looking for greater than 2.5 is, or 2.45 is 2.45, and I want to give it a max. Now the max, what I need to do is just pick a really large number. So I'm going to pick 1 with a bunch of zeros. Hit enter, and voila, there is my area, 0.0071. Again, if you haven't updated, you still type in min lower, means the same thing, 2.45, upper, 1 and a bunch of zeros. Make sure that your mean and standard deviation are 0 and 1, and then paste, and you'll get the same answer, that 0.00714. 0.00714. And again, what I typed in there was normal CDF, I'll abbreviate, 2.45, comma 1 and a bunch of zeros. Okay, next question. What percent of autos get between 30 and 40 miles per gallon? Now, the betweeners are kind of annoying problems because we always had to look up both z-scores and get the areas and then subtract. So this is a lot quicker, again, using the calculator. Standard deviation 6.2. So I'm going to calculate both z-scores. 30 minus 24.8 over 6.2. That's going to give me 0.84. And z equals 40 minus 24.8 over 6.2 is going to give me that same 2.45. Now, I'm basically looking for the area, or the probability, that z is greater than 0.84, but less than 2.45, which again, we'd have to look up in the table. Gets a little tedious. The calculator can do that just by using 0.84 and 2.45 as my min and max. So I'm going to come over here, second vars, I'm going to hit number 2 or scroll down to normal CDF and type it in as the min. Whoops. 0.84, max 2.45, and drum roll please, 0.1933. I get that area without having to use the table. 0.1933. 0.1933. And again, I type that in as normal CDF 0.84, 2.45. Okay, last one, reverse normal problems. And these, as you have noticed, are a little annoying because you have to look up the area in the table, which is, again, tedious. You receive a tax rebate if your auto falls in the top 15% of fuel economy. What mileage or MPG would you need to get? So, again, I got my mean, 24.8. Okay, I got my standard deviation of 6.2. I have my top 15%, and I'm looking for X. Before, I'd have to look up the area in the table. Now, if you recall, this is kind of similar. I can't look up the area to the right because the table only goes to the left. Same rule with the calculator. So I'm going to need to use this 0.85, which is the area to the left. Okay, the function is under the same place, second vars. Now it's the third one down, says inverse normal. Okay, thinking about going backwards. Inverse normal. Now, how I type inverse normal, or how I enter into the inverse normal function, is I'm just going to type in the area to the left. And I think this is the most efficient use of the calculator for doing reverse problems. So I'm just going to type in this 0.85. Again, it has to be the area to the left. 0.85. And again, there's my z-score without having to use the table. So when I type in, so 1.04, so again I entered inverse normal, 0.85, and I got 1.04. That's my z-score basically. So I still need to do a little bit of algebra. 1.04 equals x minus 24.8, which is my mean, over my standard deviation. And again, I'm basically solving that for x. I end up with x equals 1.04 times 6.2, and then I add the 24.8, and I get 31.25 miles per gallon. Okay, so I'd need to have at least that to be in the top 15%. Hope you enjoy this.